Hi, I'm Nicole Mason, best-selling author, attorney, executive leadership coach to high-achieving women, and so much more. Just like you, I wear many hats and have many roles. And the reality is, it is those roles and those hats that we wear that make us the phenomenal women that we are. But today I want to talk to you about the twists and turns in our lives, what I like to call the difficult defining moments. It is those difficult defining moments that really have caused us to be the great women that we are. But most of the time, it's those difficult defining moments that cause us to cower down, perhaps, depending upon what it is. Sometimes it brings shame. Sometimes it causes us not to want to talk about those parts of our lives. But I would concede to you that those particular moments in our lives, those difficult defining moments in our lives, are the times and the parts of our lives that really have led us to be who we are. And so one of the difficult defining moments in my life that really changed the trajectory of it happened on June 7th, 1992. And you say, June 7th, 1992? Yes, June 7th, 1992. I remember it like it was yesterday. I found myself on a sexual escapade. Yes, I just said that. Because the guy wasn't my boyfriend. It was just a sexual escapade. But we didn't complete what we set out to start that night, because two men walked up to my car and opened fire and shot him dead. Yeah, that changed the very course of my life. Now, of course, I don't have time to go into all of the details around that event, but let's just say that I knew from that point that the difficult defining moment had made itself known. And really, for all of us, the events before a difficult defining moment and the events after a difficult defining moment really distinguish how your life can move forward. You can either let it make you or break you, or you make it work for you. And that's what I want to share with you today. So, in order to live in your truth, I want to offer you a couple of steps. Number one, you have to get rid of all of the thoughts and all of the different things that people have spoken to you and spoken over you over the course of your life. I like to say this, that we have to break out of the systems that have been designed to keep us in a box. Let me tell you about a time when my father, who told me, Nicole, you don't let anybody put you in a box. My father was a great basketball player, and he taught me how to play basketball. Yes, I have a mean left shot. Yes. And my sons are always trying to challenge me, but they never, ever win. And so one particular day, I was on the basketball court without my father, and several of the boys in the neighborhood were on the court. And they started taunting me and teasing me and, telling me girls don't play basketball. What you doing on the court? Get off the court. You can't play. You don't know what you're doing. And all of these other things. So I go home and I'm just dejected. And I go in and my dad is like, what is wrong with you? So I begin to tell him and recount this story to him about what just happened to me on the basketball court. And my father looked at me, eyeball to eyeball, and he says to me, Nicole, don't you ever let anybody put you in a box. And so I'm saying the same thing to you. As you begin to tap into your truth at a new level, don't let anybody put you into a box. You really have to work through those systems, You know, what I mean by systems is there is a school system, there is a family system, there is a cultural system. And all of these systems have limitations on exactly what it thinks we can or cannot do. Those boys in my neighborhood, they were operating from a gender system, you know, girls don't play basketball. They were operating from a social system that, you know, they could kick me off the court and they could kind of treat me the way that they wanted to treat me. And all of those things, our behaviors, come from our systems that we're a part of. But it is incumbent upon each one of us when we begin to tap into our own truth to learn which parts of those systems work for us and which parts work against us. And so that is the first thing. I want you to think about the systems that have been around you and what messages they have told you about yourself, because it's those systems that keep us down and keep us from moving to higher heights and soaring to the heights that we were destined to soar to from the moment that we were conceived. And so I want to just say to you, I know that your difficult defining moment may not be like mine, but we all have them. And perhaps your difficult defining moment came at the hands of a teacher that told you that you weren't smart enough, or some family member that told you that you couldn't be what you wanted to be, because we all have run into those kinds of people in our lives. But I want to say to you, it didn't kill you, it made you stronger. The second thing I want you to do to tap into your truth, after you analyze the systems in your life and what has worked and what hasn't, and being intentional about replacing those messages with positive messages, is to operate in confidence. Now, I know, you're sitting there watching this video saying, I have lots of confidence. After all, I'm a CEO, or after all, I'm the senior executive. And that may be true. But let me tell you what I have learned over the years working with women such as yourself, is that a lot of us hide behind our success. We are successful outwardly, but we are inwardly not doing so well. And guess what? You are not alone. The reality is, success can be nostalgic. Success can cause us to believe that we are further along than we really are. And what would it profit you to be outwardly successful but failing on the inside because you really don't feel confident about yourself? Sure, you're confident in your skill set, but what about in the midnight hour when no one is there to see you in your zone, right? We all can get in a zone of success. But what about what you really feel about yourself? What about those voices that tell you and whisper to you that you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not smart enough? What do you do when you have those voices speaking to you, even when you are in your success zone? I can't tell you how many women I have been privileged and honored to coach who have found themselves in that kind of situation, that they're successful outwardly, but inwardly they don't feel as confident. And so it is critically important that you speak into your truth, tap into your truth, and you find your confidence zone. Because from my vantage point, confidence is the key to success. Confidence is the recipe that we all must use in dark times, in difficult times. And let me just say to you, I have worked primarily over the last 10 years in a predominantly white, all-male environment. And I just have to say, if I were not confident in who I am, not my skill set, because my skill set, yes, I'm very confident, but it is sitting in those rooms with people that don't look like you. Sometimes they don't want you even in the room, and much less sitting at the table, that your confidence in yourself must come to the fore. It must rise to the occasion. And so you have to tap into that confidence zone. And sometimes it takes having someone like me coming alongside you to build you up and encourage you to have open and honest and transparent conversations about really what you're thinking when you're in those spaces, what you're thinking when you're called on to speak. Are you able to articulate your thoughts appropriately? Do you allow other people to take your ideas and use them as their own and you don't speak up for yourself? Are you able to advocate for what you know you're worth when it's time for you to go up for your bonus or your promotion or to land that contract? It is confidence that helps us to do that. And so I want to encourage you to think about and analyze your life and those situations that perhaps you weren't as confident as you wanted to be, and look into what was the impetus, what was the root cause of you not being confident as you know you could have been when you look back on it. The next thing and final thing that I want to talk about in this time that we're together is courage. Confidence leads to courage, and it takes courage to speak your truth. It takes courage to go against the grain. It takes courage to go against the status quo. Because once you begin to break out of those systems and use your difficult defining moments and speak your truth and live authentically, it's not going to make everybody happy. It's not going to cause people to come running over to you and building you up and cheering for you. It just doesn't happen that way. And so you need courage. And I believe that the byproduct of breaking out of those systems, using what works for you, throwing away what doesn't, building up your confidence, the byproduct of that is courage. And we all need courage to make impact. We all need courage to show up great. And I believe that showing up great is an obligation that we all have. And so in order to do that, it is important for you to surround yourself with others who are courageous, with others who are showing up great. And so I want to encourage you to connect with me. My website is NicoleSMason.com, and there you'll find my most recent book. It's called Maintain Your Momentum: Success Quotes for High Achieving Women. So I want to encourage you to get this resource to help you to keep your momentum going in whatever your respective industry might be. And then finally, I want to encourage you to send a text. Let me know how this message resonated with you. I want to hear from you. Text "Show Up Great," that's all caps, all together, "Show Up Great" to 22828. Join our mailing list. I also want to hear from you. Follow me on social media at Nicole S. Mason. Inbox me on Facebook. Send a message to Twitter or Instagram and let me know what this message did for you and how it resonated with you. I am Nicole Mason, best-selling author, attorney, executive leadership coach to high-achieving women, wife to my college sweetheart, mom to 3 sons, and so many more hats that I wear, and so do you.